We also have in the legislation direct payments, which were not in the Republican bill, to America's working families. I would like them been bigger, but they are significant.
You're the selfish one. I mean, it's
The needs of the American people.
what could it cost? $10?
You've never actually set foot in a supermarket, have you?
I don't have time for that.
Politicians have been patting themselves on the back for securing these $600 stimulus checks, which took Congress 9 whole months to allocate. We might as well call them what they really are, which is a massive subsidy to landlords and banks, because that's exactly where the $600 will go for the vast majority of people come January 1st. Despite how pathetic this relief is, Nancy Pelosi called the checks significant for working families, to which most people responded by ruthlessly dragging her on the internet. Obviously, you could only say something this ridiculous if you're completely out of touch with your constituents. But exactly how out of touch? Is she really rich enough to have never set foot in a grocery store? To answer these questions, we went through Nancy Pelosi's 2018 financial disclosure so you don't have to. So this is Nancy Pelosi's financial disclosure report. It's something every member of Congress has to file, and it shows all of their assets, stocks, properties, bank accounts. You get the idea. So right off the bat, we see 3 properties valued between $5 million and $25 million. You'll see this a lot. With a lot of these assets, you aren't required to disclose an exact valuation, just a really wide range of possible values. Either way, she's got 3 of these properties. The first one is her home, which also doubles as a vineyard in Napa, California, wine country. One cool thing about her house is that it actually generates its own flow of money. Right here it says she makes anywhere from $100,000 to $1 million in grape sales. Grape sales, that's crazy. Here I am in Brooklyn, my apartment sucking thousands of dollars out of me. Meanwhile, she's making up to $1 million a year, more than most people see in their lifetime, selling grapes. Let us know in the comments who you think picks these grapes. The other 2 properties are commercial properties. The first one appears to be a Walgreens, and you see the asset type says RP, which stands for real property. That means that you own everything on the land and everything permanently attached to it as well, so the building in this case. The other property is a 4-story building in San Francisco. Nancy Pelosi reports making between $100,000 and $1 million in rent off of these 2 properties. Next, let's take a look at her stock and options portfolio. So there are actually way too many stocks and options to go through each one, so I'm gonna put up all the companies that Nancy Pelosi owns a piece of. There's a pretty good chance that a number of you watching this actually work for some of these companies. Nancy Pelosi is raking in tens of thousands, if not millions of dollars, owning shares of what amounts to your labor. Some highlights here: she holds anywhere from $5 million to $25 million in both Apple and Visa stock. In fact, Nancy Pelosi was involved in an insider trading scandal where she bought 5,000 shares of Visa stock during its initial public offering. This was around the time there was a bill circulating through the House of Representatives that would have regulated credit card companies. 2 days after the IPO, Visa shares jumped 50% in value, and the credit card bill never made it to the floor. Nancy Pelosi clearly has a thing for blue chip stocks. She bought several millions of dollars of blue chip stocks in 2018. Needless to say, you wouldn't be able to finance this kind of buying spree with that $600 check. Finally, Nancy Pelosi has several ownership interests, meaning special rights to the property owner with several businesses. These ownership trusts are marked by an OL. Again, there are way too many to go through each and every one, but here are the different ownership interests that she declares. These companies range from investment firms to real estate companies, law firms, restaurants. There was even a resort in there, and she's raking millions of dollars in passive income off of these businesses. She's basically making money in her sleep. All in all, this puts her net worth anywhere between $34 million and $257 million. Either way, my guess is that she wouldn't notice if $600 got added to her bank account. But the point here isn't that Nancy Pelosi is some extraordinarily corrupt politician or that she's some kind of outlier in all of this. She's actually not even the wealthiest member of Congress. The point is that this system is fundamentally divided into two groups. Those who get up every morning and work 8 or 10 or 12 hours a day and live paycheck to paycheck, and then those who own the companies that these people work for, and by extension, everything these workers produce for the companies. In other words, people who make a living simply by owning things. People like Nancy Pelosi and all the other owners out there are entitled to the profits from selling what we build with our hands and our heads, not because they break their backs submitting to labor, but because they buy expensive pieces of paper that say, I own 10% of Apple, or I own 50% of every sale that this restaurant makes. The point here is that it's this system that rewards politicians who choose to put the interests of those who own corporations by making these politicians small owners too. Nancy Pelosi wouldn't be worth over $100 million if she didn't help generate several billions of dollars for the world's most powerful corporations. That's the same reason why the majority of members of the 116th Congress are millionaires. So the next time a politician tells you to be satisfied with what they got you, remind them that everything that they have comes from the labor of people like you.